Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Please stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop! I don't. Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I'm here. Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you. I don't ever want to hear your voice to you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Please stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop! I don't. Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me.
Look what that says there. Did he really just say, I don't care what you want? I don't care what you want. I'm going to force myself on you against your will anyway. That's what it's like to be stalked. It's awful. It isn't love. It is sick. It's an imposition and a burden to have to deal with it every fucking day, all day long. And again, I've woken up to being same thing. Pick up my phone. Mr. Perry starts typing in my phone, starts trying to contact me, starts trying to tell me what he thinks. I don't care. I don't care what you think. Didn't ask you. You were not asked. This guy does the same thing. He starts telling this girl, she's screaming at him, leave me alone. He starts telling her what he thinks about her clothes. You weren't asked, motherfucker. No one cares what you think. You were not asked. And then Mr. Perry starts ordering me, leave Oklahoma. Oh my gosh. No. I came here to get away from you and to not have a conflict. And had you left me alone, you wouldn't need a cover-up right now, and you're desperate for one, and everybody knows it. You're not fooling anybody. I know you think people believe you. But if I can tell what you just said, and you keep getting caught, you never get a date, you've had 8 years of pretending, making a fool of yourself. 8 years of that. 8 fucking years pretending. You have nothing real. It's all in your head. You look fucking ridiculous. And everybody's very concerned as to why you're not as embarrassed as you make everybody else feel with this delusion of yours. I don't feel what you feel. I don't. I left 8 years ago. I don't want you in my life at all. I don't want you in my life. Mr. Perry, you have got to control yourself. You have got to get a grip on reality. I don't like you. I don't care what you think. Didn't ask you. You don't call the shots in my life. You go live your life. What you think is irrelevant to me at all, completely. Leave me the fuck alone. Had you left me alone when I first asked you in 2014, you wouldn't need a cover-up now. And that's all you're after is a lie. I'm not going to be your bitch. Sorry. I'm not going to be your bitch. I don't like you. I don't think there's a fucking thing sexy about you. I think you're a nasty weirdo. Bizarre bore. You need to go work, sir. Get off your fat, lazy ass. Quit perverting around. Quit making problems. Quit making trouble. Quit making everybody mad. And go work. You need the alibi. You need it. You know, you guys had all kinds of people coming at me, asking weird questions about where I live and what car I drive and what I, this and that. Why don't you go out and let undercovers talk to you and see if you can handle it as well as I did. See if you're smart as I am. You and David. You look pathetic. Just like him. You're breaking the law. Nobody owes you a fucking thing. You're not entitled. You don't have power acting like him. You diminished yourself to the butt of a dirty joke. If that is the best you can do, definitely that's why you have no date. No, you have no date. It's not mutual. It doesn't go both ways. You just fucking look pathetic. Please, sir, leave me alone. You look pathetic. You look fucking pathetic. Every day, it's the same thing. You bother me, you get told on. You bother me, you get told on. You bother me, you get caught. You bother me, you get told on. You bother me, you get caught. And you don't get that. For some reason, it's not clicking for you. And I mean, everybody's concerned why we're all having to repeat ourselves over and over and over, and you're just not getting it. I mean, come on with this, Mr. Perry. Leave me the fuck alone. What would your life look like now had you just left me the fuck alone? You wouldn't be all desperate for a cover-up, would you? Leave me the fuck alone, sir. So, today is... hold on. Today is January 10th, 2022, Monday. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcasts. We do the disclaimer, use allegedly, apply the but-for standard, the reasonable person standard. We assert all constitutional rights. I have the right to protect myself from Mr. Perry's harassment. So, he's, he bothers me, he gets caught. So, what happens is I get some police recording played for me. Mr. Perry is a peeping Tom. He sees me on my phone talking to them. And I guess he's trying to tell people there are no police. And in order to make that lie work, he has to, he's said some bizarre things. That's all I'm going to say. So I guess I have to address the Mannford situation again, which I didn't want to have to do, and I do. But for his harassment and stalking, I wouldn't, need to do a podcast. But here we are. Okay, so when this stuff was going on, where people would pull up and take pictures of me, and I've got 2 witness statements here talking about it. One of them was a black at Lexus with Texas plates. Everybody was freaking out about that. Made everybody uncomfortable. Ms. Collins said, I've lived here 10 years and I've not seen this. So he's definitely bothering you. She had called Chief Miller about 3 times. Didn't ask me first. She told me afterwards and said there's a lot of weird traffic. People pulling up, taking pictures of her. I'm worried about her. I think something's wrong. And we need you to patrol the area more. 3 times she called him and asked him to increase patrol. Mr. Perry has money. What he does is he'll get my VIN number off my car. He will, or something, and he'll go to the dealership. Like when it was a Honda, you go to the Honda dealership. When it's a Toyota, you go to the Toyota dealership. And he buys a key and he gets in my car. So he got in my car. Dave's employees were all staying right next to me, and we're all in a lawsuit. I get my Mr. Perry is a peeping Tom. Let me say that again, for the record. Mr. Perry has a peeping Tom problem. We've asked people to watch him and catch him, so that I don't have to say it. And then do you believe me? Do that bullshit. I don't want to do that bullshit. My guys know he's a peeping Tom. That's what got them involved in investigating him in the first place. He's broadcast women all over the internet, all over the world. I'm one of them. He sells watch time. We've got a witness. The whole thing that got started with the police helping me, they keep catching Mr. Perry, that gave me the McNamara email, the Mike was drugged email, all of that. That is from Mr. Perry's peeping Tom problem. He sits around on his fat, lazy ass, perverting around. He doesn't have an alibi. He needs to be out working with everybody else, doing normal people things normal people do, and he can't control himself. He can't. You try to reason with him, it's like talking to a 2-year-old. He doesn't get things. He doesn't get it. Things don't click for him. It's very frustrating to have to deal with him. Very frustrating. It's aggravating. And so what'll happen is he can tell, because he's sitting there watching me, he can tell when I'm low on food and about to go to the grocery. He can tell. They have a meeting every morning about my money. Is she going to work today? Sit around and think about ways to fuck with me there. He's hacked me. So I don't make as much money as I could if he weren't hacking. The witness said, as long as I've known Charles Perry, he trolls women. He can't get a real date. Can't. He's got a wife, Jacqueline, that he owes some explanations to. He'll travel without his wife trolls women, finds divorced women with kids. When they're not home, he'll have a locksmith get in or pay the landlord or the maintenance guy a little something. There's never forced entry with Mr. Perry, but he's still breaking and entering. It's still breaking and entering. You can still prosecute a crime without forced entry. I've read the law in Oklahoma. For sure you can, because you have different charges, and one of them is breaking and entering with no signs of forced entry. I've read it. So he'll pay the landlord or maintenance guy a little something something. He has cameras installed in the woman's home. Then he broadcasts these women all over the internet and sells watch time and makes money. And then he gets them fired from their job. So you got a woman with kids, can't all of a sudden no income. And then he has, and here's the thing is, like, I had a business. I had a political consulting business. I've had a medical business. I did very well. And all of a sudden I have problems. And it's not him. These women, the same thing. They got a nice job. They got taking care of their kids. And all of a sudden they have problems. And it's not him. Then he hacks them. When they're trying to find more work, he makes sure they can't find another job. Then they lose their home. Then he has the ex take the kids away because now they're unfit. It's his thing. He gets off hurting people. He enjoys it. He's a sadist. He was abused as a kid. Now he feels the need to ick and slime his family problems all over everybody else. And he's done that to me. I left to get away from that. Had he left me alone, he wouldn't need a cover up now. But the more he messes with me, because I have police helping me, he gets caught every fucking time. But in Mannford, so he'd had hired people to come do that. He can get a key to my car, and he has. Pays for a key to my car, not his car. This is a person I do not want in my life at all. This is a stalker. Getting a key to my car, every car I've had. It is, he thinks that's power. Wow, we're like, wow. So he got, I had the threat about he was going to do something to my car. I had the threat that he was recorded talking about. I'm going to have her car towed and sold. See? Look at the last sentence there highlighted. It's not legit, but I will have her car towed and sold before she figures that out. That was on August 23rd, 2019. And then I get a radiator hose busted. Somebody drained all the oil out of my car. And took a tail light out. I get woken up by police. I've said this story over and over and over. I'm repeating myself again today. So I get a call from police at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. When you leave your house, you just go get in your car and you leave. I usually woke up at about 3. I'd get ready for work, and then I'd go to work. And I didn't check my lights. Well, that day I got woken up at 1 o'clock. He had your tail light taken out because he wants you pulled over. Go fix it. So I went outside at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and looked, and sure shit, it was out. This thing right here is the part of my trunk that had been pulled back. That's not where the light is. But it looks like somebody thought it was and got in there, realized that's not where the light is, it's in the hood. Got the light out. I go to Napa, get a new light. So I didn't get pulled over. But I was told about that by police investigating Mr. Perry that started with his little Peep and Tom problem. Peep and Tom is a criminal act. It's a sex crime. It's a sex crime, and he's got children. So that's child pornography. It's a need to know. You don't get to know. They won't even talk to other police because Mr. Perry has a very bad habit of buying police. You got to be trustworthy, or you don't get to be in the loop. So, then he had a brick thrown at me on the freeway. It was supposed to hit me in the head, I'm pretty sure. But because I saw his guy sitting at the exit, I went a different way, and it took me, delayed me about 2-3 minutes. So what happened is the brick hit the pavement, bounced up under my car, and cracked the engine in two. Totaled my car. Totaled it. Then I get a new car. Right here, you see where his guy's sitting? If you go right, there's a restaurant. It used to be called Freddy's. I think it's since sold. Right on the right, to the right of where that guy's sitting. Normally, you would go out that way to the right. So, because I saw his guy sitting there, kind of by Freddy's, I went to the left. And it delayed me a couple of minutes, so the brick didn't hit me in the head, like I'm pretty sure it was intended to do. Murder attempt number, 51. And, so it totaled my car. This, when I got my new car, there's powder all in it. And I'm like, what in the fuck? So I asked the waitress, did you see anybody in my car? Not the waitress, the maid, Laura. Did you see anybody in my car? She said, no, I did not. But the weirdest thing, it's all over the room, right here. That same powder, everywhere. So I went over, I said, don't clean it. I think I'm going to report this. If they did this, I can file a protective order. We're in court right now. Now's the perfect time to do it. So what I did is, then I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And normally, it doesn't take me very long to make a decision. It did that day. She cleaned the room, but before she did, I took pictures. And then I called Mannford Police. Mike Neely responded. Mike Neely took my report. I didn't name a suspect. I said, we don't know who did this. It's possible it was just some random guy. Look at the dust all over this room. Or it could be this man stalking me. I don't know anybody that would do something this weird. He gets a key to every car I've had. Pays the dealer a little something, something. Or goes to the dealership and gets it. Gets a key. He's got a forged marriage license. He waves around, and that's how he violates my privacy rights. But you can't do that even with a marriage license, and it's a forgery. I didn't sign it. I don't want anything to do with Mr. Perry. By the way, I heard somebody was telling another law enforcement agency she's not wearing a wedding ring. We looked. There's no wedding photo. There's no evidence that she's consented to this forgery. He signed her name. We've looked. There's nothing there. He's using that to violate her. But even if you go to the bank and you get a loan, the spouse still has to sign it. He's exerting spousal rights over her against her will. With his little pretend land. Imagination. It doesn't get any more bizarre than that. Alright, so my police report did not name a suspect on purpose, Mr. Perry. On purpose. I guess he's trying to allege I filed another false police report. What I filed is a police report against someone who got into my car and vandalized it. And maybe it's you. If they determine that it was you, then I can ask for a protective order. By law, you got to have a police report. You know that. We've had this argument over and over and over and over for 8 years, sir. If they determine it was you, then I can get a... But I'm not the police, so I'm not going to do the job for them. They're going to have to do it themselves. 6 days after I filed that report, Chief Miller is dead. He was beat to death by a man who did that while he's unconscious, and he ended up with not a mark on him. That's the guy who took my police report right there. 6 days later. He's not able to make any determination at all, is he? That's the second time you obstructed justice when I filed a police report. That doesn't make you look guilty. That doesn't make you look guilty at all. We all think you're just Jesus walking on water. I mean, golly, what planet do you fucking live on, Perry? Chief Miller did come to my work, and I guess he was just supposed to eyeball me and identify me or whatever, confirm I worked there, but we talked. He asked me, did you sign a marriage license? No, sir, I did not. Okay. I know he's been messing with your money. He's taking your money. We told him to cut that the fuck out. That if he mugged you, 5 guys would tackle him and get your purse back. What's the difference? I'm tired of people in my town being inconvenienced because he's taking your money, inconveniencing, making it where you can't pay or you're late, And he's doing that, to get out of a lawsuit. So we told him to cut that the fuck out. Him and Robertson, David Robertson. So you guys have had undercovers on you, and you're going to have more. Can you do as well as I did? Are you as smart as me? I want to see that. So far, not so much. I want to see how you do with undercovers. Are you as smart as me? I don't. So far, not so much. So, this guy, this is Charles. This is not Lisa Neely. He spoofed her account. And he's asking me all these questions. The other question he asked, see, this is Lisa right here. When I got confrontational with him about, you're not Lisa, he changed and that's identity theft, by the way. He changed the account name to Lisa Kane. Oh, yeah, again, not fishy at all. But you can see the same other name, Ethan Hutchins and whatever that is, Manneling. So that was weird. And then he gives me this. We know you've been subpoenaed. You're a witness. But we're going to contact you anyway. How did you know Mike had to be coaxed to Pensacola so we could kill him? And then when he didn't die, arrange a false arrest, just like we did to you. And then who's his other victims? In other words, who else is talking? Who else is talking? Who else on the peep show, sex trafficking, sex exploitation is talking? Like, he thought I would actually tell him that. The questions these people, I mean, the things they say, it's like, holy crap. So, the Mannford police report was not filed falsely. I did have somebody get in my car. I did not name a suspect. I didn't say it was you. I said maybe it's you. After a police investigation, if it's determined to be you, then I need to file a protective order, because you keep getting in my car. You don't have the right to a key. You don't have a right to the key. You're not supposed to be in my life at all, sir. You're not wanted. You weren't invited to my life in Oklahoma. I came here to get away from you. You're a stalker. Stalking is a crime, sir, in all 50 states. The femicide rate is 75% of femicide victims were stalked first. 75%, that's high. That is fucking high. So was the brick that was thrown at me that cracked my engine in two was a murder attempt? Most likely. I texted Marcus Harper with TPD about it, and I said, I don't think you can do anything about this because I didn't get the plates. But you're smart. I'm sure you can pretty quickly figure out who and why did that. But, I mean, he might know. But being able to prove it in court is hard if I don't get a plate. And I didn't get a plate because I'm dodging a brick. So, unfortunately, I didn't get it. But I wanted him to know I had another problem. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. Just make a note of it for the record. I don't know that there's anything you could do because I didn't get the plate. You can't go into court of law and say, we think it was him, but we didn't get a plate. We didn't, she didn't know. We don't know. You can't, but it's at least the police have been told I had another problem. Not that they can prosecute it because I didn't get a fucking plate. Unless there's other ways that Marcus can think of that he can investigate it. I don't know how you would do it without a plate. And because I'm dodging a brick, I didn't get a plate. Normally, I'm pretty good about getting tags and all that shit if I can. But that day, if you're dodging a brick, it's hard to, I'm trying to stay alive. It's hard to read a plate. But they know that happened. It happened in Tulsa. It happened on the highway on my way to work. So, hang on. This is the first false arrest that Mr. Perry threatened in October 2015. Actually, before that. But this was very specific information that I had given to my ex-husband. Here's what he wants to do. Coerce me. Force me into something I don't want to do. Throw her ass in jail. Tell her she can't get out unless she lies or she does what I want her to. Subjugation. Violent subjugation. No one cares what you think, sir. You weren't asked. You need to get off your fat, lazy ass, stop perverting around, and go work. You need the alibi. Badly. You clearly don't understand that you need the alibi. Because the police, they got me this. You told people in Lubbock, you like bragging about your power. I can do this and get away with it. So you go running all your mouth telling everybody what you can do. I got power. I can subjugate women. And you tell people, and it so disturbed somebody, they reported it. This is something you're still trying to do. And everybody knows it. And you sit around on your fat, lazy ass watching me in my home, and you make phone calls up here. She's getting ready to go to the store. She's getting ready to go to work. We planned this and we planned that, don't you? And a lot of times that's recorded. And then I hear that too. I hear that too. Everybody's sick and tired of it, Perry. It's concerning that you're not fucking embarrassed by the weird ass shit you sit around doing all day. You need an alibi to prove you're doing anything but what I say you're doing. And you don't have one because you're not getting it. You're slow mentally. Very mentally slow. It's very frustrating to have to deal with it. Very frustrating. So if I'm saying months before, Mr. Perry has a plan. The plan is a crime. He's going to go to court and commit fraud. It's a stalking escalation because I won't be his bitch. I don't like him. He's trying to force himself on me against my will. And then he does it. Then he kind of proves what I just said, right? He's not getting that either. He does not get it. I mean, we're just all going... We're smart. We all have IQs of like 130. 40 of us. Well, there's 40 cops, me, and a shrink. Nobody's caught your crime as much as we have. You've never had this happen before. And he just, I mean, it just right over his head. Things don't click. And I don't have the patience for that. I'm not a special ed teacher, Mr. Perry. So, I tried to get a protective order in May 2015, and I forgot my police report. So, number 2 reason that my protective order was denied, non-compliance with that law right there. You have to do it. And you knew that, Perry. You knew. I'm getting threatened. Mr. Robertson came in and threatened me. Recant your claims or I'm going to put you in the lake. I'm going to kill you. I'm hired by Mr. Perry to take your life if you won't lie. And I said, fuck you. Fuck you. You want to come at me? You're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. You're going to see things happen you've never seen before. Because you don't know who I am and you don't know who I know. So I didn't die. I didn't die. Things got worse. They got worse. They got worse. Mr. Robertson harassed me so bad at work. Sometimes I was afraid to go. Again, I have income loss. That night, this night that I reported on the 21st, 2016, months after the McNamara email that I just showed you, dated October 29, 2015, what happens? It makes things so miserable, customers complained. They talked to the waitress, they told her what he was doing. They said it's making us uncomfortable, and she didn't even see it. We're sitting there watching it, it's making us uncomfortable. And she blew it off, and they got mad. So she came back over. Well, actually, I went and talked to the owner, and I go, it made them mad because she was dismissive to something that made them uncomfortable. I didn't even see it. They saw it. They're watching. They said, this guy's following you around everywhere you go. Every time you do a lap dance, he has that girl go watch you. It is weird as shit. It's making me very uncomfortable. The waitress comes back over, and he goes, did you want to wait until he takes her head off and then do something? Get the guy out of here. Get him out of here. All the girls and Lady Godiva's used to complain in the back about David being creepy. That guy's creepy and he doesn't pay. That's the way their whole group is. You could always tell when Perry's guy comes in. They don't pay. They don't spend any money, and they're creepy, and they say every weird-ass bullshit thing no normal person could even think of, and they bother everybody. All his guys did that, and they're grabby as shit. Grabby as shit. You can always tell Perry's people. Ask you bizarre, intrusive, nosy body questions. You know, what car are you? Where do you live? What's your car? What's your height? What's your shoes? Stupid shit. Shit that's none of your business. So that's on the 21st. I've left Lubbock. I left to get away from him and to not have a conflict. I didn't want to be on the news for your error in judgment. Where's Jackie when you fuck around and do all this weird-ass shit, Mr. Perry? Where's your wife? What's so important that you can't control yourself and you gotta embarrass your family with this? If I'm your kid, if my dad did what you do, that'd be the first question out of my mouth. This is the best you can do? This is the legacy you're strapping us with? You can't control yourself? Now we gotta have this embarrassment all over us? What's so important you gotta embarrass us with this? That you've reduced yourself to the butt of a dirty joke. Chasing a woman around that doesn't even like you and betraying our mom. That's what I mean. I'd be pissed. I would be so fucking pissed. So he's threatening death and false arrest forever. Look at the date on that. January 4, 2016. A false arrest or killing me isn't going to vindicate him from stalking allegations. It's going to prove he is stalking. And he does not get that. We all get it, but we're smart. Mr. Perry can't put 2 and 2 together. I've never seen anything like it. I'm not a special ed teacher. I can't keep explaining the same thing to you. You need to keep up with everybody else. So he did exactly what I said, because the incident I reported hadn't even happened yet. It was the incident that happened was on the 16th, and I reported it on the 21st. I'm listing evidence as video evidence, surveillance from my work, blood and text. I think I said text. I don't think I put blood and hair in there because I was scared to death Perry'd get wind of it and do exactly what he did. I was right. But what they told me is when we're going to enter this complaint into our computer, a detective will be assigned and they'll call you back. And then you need to bring in the evidence. So at that point, I can tell the detective, I think he's poisoning me, because as you can see, the text that I named as my evidence indicate that they are, and I'm getting sick, so I bought charcoal to absorb the poison. But guess what? Justice was obstructed. I filed it on the 21st. 9 days later, I'm charged in Lubbock for reporting a crime that happened in Tulsa. Filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job. So Mr. Mental Slow can't tell what his legislative duties are. It's not stalking women. How embarrassing for you. Okay, so where's my blood test? I'm sitting illegally detained for 2 months. The prosecutor has an obligation to collect all the evidence. Since he impeded the proper collection of evidence, it was destroyed, and Mr. Powell never had an intention to go into trial. That was an intimidation tactic, is what that was. Intimidating, victim and witness tampering. Title 18 of the United States Code 1512 and 1513 prohibit it. Retaliation. I didn't get to talk to a detective. She didn't call me back until the 15th. I was arrested on the 29th. See that? Obstructed justice. Interfered with the chain of custody of evidence. There has to be the proper collection of evidence. That would have been the video surveillance showing David harassing me that night, showing the customers complaining, showing me walking back to talk to the owner about it, showing the waitress coming back over, and then David getting kicked out. All that's gone. It's gone. Blood and hair. Test it for arsenic, because he said he gave me arsenic. I bought on the 27th of December charcoal because I'm getting sick every time I drink something at work. He'd have a customer come in, or one of his guys buy me a drink. If I had to get up to go on stage or go to the bathroom or go do dollar dances or something, and I'd come back and take a sip, and it'd give me a screaming headache. I'd get really dizzy and a metal taste in my mouth. It made me sick. I'd throw up. It made me sick. So I didn't get a blood test. If Mr. Perry was not poisoning me, he would have made sure there was a blood test. He would have held a big old press conference. He would have said, see, she lied. We tested her. There's nothing in her blood. But he didn't do that. He did not do that. He made sure there was no test. Act showing consciousness of guilt, obstruction of justice, destruction of my evidence. While I'm in jail, for that one, they want me to lie. I said, I'm not going to lie. I just lost my house. My name is smeared all over the news. I'm a cop's granddaughter. My granddad's a chief of police. He's got a legacy. I'm not going to lie for this bitch. He committed a crime. He tried to kill me. That's attempted murder. He obstructed justice. And who at TPD handed my police report right to the guy that did it? Now everybody wants to know who that guy was. How careless with people's lives, sir. Why would you do something like that? It wasn't even a week. Wasn't even a week. There was no investigation to determine whether or not my report was false or true. And everybody wants to know also, why did Jim Hansen sign off on an arrest report? Because two things had to be proven to believe there was even a crime. One, the police report was false. Two, that it was over Mr. Perry's legislative duties. Since when is stalking and attempted murder part of your legislative duties? You should have made him prove it. Well, we just need you to lie. I'm not gonna lie. I lost my house. My son is going through hell right now. Fuck you. You gotta be shitting me with that. So they go, well, then we're gonna have you tested by a bunch of shrinks to see if we can get someone to say you're delusional and you just imagined it. Well, okay, but the law says you gotta file a police report. I got text back home. But they did it. They tried twice. I got tested twice. And they had me treated by a shrink for 1.5 years who said it's a stalking escalation. This event is a stalking escalation. And Charles will escalate more than you can ignore. All she wants is to be fucking left alone. Then I also said, I'll just stay quiet if he'll leave me the fuck alone. Thus, the first thing here. No contact. There shall be no contact at all. You live in Lubbock, Texas. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Why the hell are you always where I am? Bothering me. Making trouble where I am. Like in Mannford. And the police officer that took my complaint 6 days later, now he's been drugged. Now he's not been tested before being treated. And he has not a mark on him. Found unconscious and in respiratory distress. And accused of beating someone to death. He's pulled off the impossible thing no human has ever done. Beat someone to death while sleeping. And ended up with nothing on him. And again, justice is obstructed. And again, someone is given something, some kind of foreign substance that alters their state. And a false arrest. And you think people don't notice? You're off your nut. You are such a mental slow to think nobody suspects a thing. It is embarrassing. It is very, very embarrassing, sir. Control yourself. I left to get away from all this kind of drama. While I'm sitting in jail, they got a big old meeting. These guys like to have meetings. Hang on. So while I'm in jail, they all have a little meeting. And they all sit around and go, I know, we'll send her home. Make her think we'll leave her alone. We're going to harass the shit out of her and do things to her car. And, send people like Pinto and Mickey James and Terry Wagner and Joel to just fuck with her and fuck with her and fuck with her and fuck with her. And then when she complains about it, we'll say she's harassing us. So, while I'm there, Justice Scalia also dies in West Texas. And there's a whole big mess about that. William O'Ritchie from DC Homicide Police, retired, questioned why was protocol not followed like it would have been had he died in Washington, D.C., where I live. He's in West Texas. What the hell's going on? There's a big old cover-up over there. What, did you slip him a little something too? Because he's a First Amendment guy. He's the one that said flag burning is free speech. If I'm king, I don't like it. If I'm king, I'll hang him. But I'm not king. And the Constitution allows him to do that. It's free speech. You're going to do this. You're going to perpetrate a fraud upon the highest court in the land. We'll harass the hell out of her. When she complains about it, we'll lie. We'll say she's harassing us. Actually, she's just telling on us. That's all that's happening. So, that's what you did. You did it in 2 civil cases. You can't say you didn't plan that. Exactly what this email says. Dated 4/11/2018. And there's a lot more than this one, sir. That Philip and Ted already have. You are not fooling anybody. You're showing that you're very mentally slow. And you can't keep up with everybody else. So, they've tried to do that. They've tried to do that a lot. While I'm in jail, I get this puzzle. Hold on, I get this puzzle. This is a conversation with Fabian that I had on the night David Robertson came in, because David Robertson told me, why don't you like Charles? Because he's a weirdo. He's creepy. He's not my thing, not my type. Not my type. You know the guys that I've dated, Mr. Perry, didn't take him 8 years to get a date with me. Didn't take him that at all. You will never have one. You want to put me back in jail so you can subjugate, and it's duly noted for the record, like everywhere, all over the place. You're a mental slow. Everyone gets it. They know what you're trying to do. You got a crime, you want to cover it up. You got a bunch of crimes. You've got first-degree murder of a police officer, attempted murder of of his detective that just took my report against I don't know who. I said I don't know who did it. No one saw. It could be random guy. It could be my stalker. When you figure out who did it, let me know. If it was my stalker, then I need to get a protective order because he's getting in my car again. He gets a key from the dealership. If it's Toyota, he goes to the Toyota dealership. If it's a Honda, he goes to the Honda dealership. And he gets a fucking key. He gets in my car. He could also get it from the guy I bought it from. Couldn't he? Here, I got this forged marriage license. I'll pay you a little something if you'll tell me stuff that is illegal for me to know. Yep, okay. So on the night Dave comes in, October 12th, 2015, I'm telling Fabian, Perry just sent somebody in. We talked about you. He wanted to know why I don't like Perry. What's to like? What's to like? I'm not going to date a serial killer or a serial stalker or a serial voyeur or some guy that, exploits children and women all over the internet and gets off hurting people, bothering everyone. Why do you gotta bother everyone all day? That's pretty fucking pathetic. What the guy told me is, Fabian doesn't want you. And I said, yep, I gotta hear that from Fabian. You're not his spokesperson. He's a grown man. He can tell me what he wants or doesn't want. And in all these years, he's never said he didn't want me. Not to me. He's got to talk to me about that. It's none of your business. Then he goes, actually, he just wants to fuck you. Fine. Let us fucking be done with it. Then he goes, actually, he and Charles fought over you for months. There's not a fight. There's no decision between Charles and Fabian. It's my decision who I want in my life, and it's never going to be Charles Perry. Never. He's a wannabe, never the wanted one. I said no. I said no. No means no. That's it, period. One time is all that should be said. After that, you're harassing and you're stalking, and that's a crime. Whether you do it personally Or you hire a guy, proxy, stalking by proxy. It doesn't matter. You're coming where I am to my work and having this kind of conversation with me, not about pro-life issues, not about gun rights, not about any political issue at all, about your love life that is imaginary because you're a reject. This is not part of your legislative duties, sir. You're a mental slow if you don't know your legislative duties. When I lived in Lubbock, I helped Mr. Perry get elected. I ran campaigns. I had been in politics all my life. My granddad was an elected official. And the police chief in the town where I grew up, he was the power. You have no idea what it's like to grow up like that. You have no idea what it's like to grow up like that. So, again, there's all that. When I'm in jail, my guys heard what I said the first time I said it. I don't want Charles. He's a butt-in. He's pathetic. He's a wannabe. I want Fabian. He works hard. I'm impressed with his work ethic. I'm impressed with who he is. There's several things he's done that really, really got to me, impressed me. Guess what else he said? I think you deserve better than to spend the rest of your life being harassed by this guy. Thank you. That's the kind of man I want. Not somebody that thinks I don't deserve anything good and I should just starve to death and you're going to go jack off. That's what our witness said. He enjoys torture, torment, and starvation of women and children. He's a sexual sadist. He cannot ejaculate without hurting people. That's a mental illness, sir, not a trophy. Crime causation is something that I've studied in school. What would cause... Crime causation in criminology is basically the study of why in the fuck would anyone do that to another person. Most people want to stop hurting. They don't want to cause it. You sit around on your fat, lazy ass and cause it. And you get off on that. And you think that gives you power. Nope. It makes you a bizarre, bore, pathetic, low-life scumbag, piece of trash criminal. Everybody is sick and tired of you. When you met me, all of a sudden you started getting caught because you've done this all your life. All of you. You too, David Robertson. You're not cute. You're not... Every girl at Godiva's was creeped out by you. Creepy Dave's back. Girls talk about guys in the back. The dancers in the back. We all talk about customers. We talk about which ones we like, which ones are fun, which ones treat us right, and which ones to stay away from. David Robertson doesn't pay up, and he's creepy. Sometimes you can put up with the creepy if they pay good. If it's a customer that tips well, you can put up with it. You can, suck it up. But you didn't do either one. Those girls didn't like you. I didn't either. No one did. Girls don't like creepy men. Girls like fun men. Normal guys. Interesting. Smart. Have something interesting to talk about. If you're stupid, that's a little hard, isn't it? So, and if you don't have money on top of that, you're not going to get people sitting, you're not going to get a girl sitting with you. You're going to be everyone laughs at you in the back. Oh, Creepy Dave's back. Creepy Dave. One of my friends got a VIP with Dave, which I think in the whole time that I worked at Lady Godiva's and he was coming in, I saw him only get one VIP. So what he would do is, if girls sat with him, you'd maybe get him to buy the cheapest drink they made, and you had to beg for it, basically. You had to kind of tell him, you're gonna buy me a drink or I'm gonna walk off. I'm not gonna sit with you. So if you want to talk to me, you're gonna have to get me something. Cheapest fucking drink they had. That's the best he could do in there. So one time he got a VIP, and the girl comes to me after, and she goes, that was by far the creepiest conversation I've ever had with him. I will never do it again. It wasn't worth the $60. She didn't. I think he came back in, and she came running over to me. Guess what? Creepy Dave's back. I'm not giving him another VIP. I don't even want to talk to him. That's Charles Perry and his little club. his little men's club of weird. So you have two situations here in which two people were false arrested. There's fraud upon a court after fraud upon a court after fraud upon a court after fraud upon a court. It's disgusting. Mr. Perry got into my home when I lived in Lubbock. I went on a date. I come home. I forgot my phone at home. He's GPS'd my phone in Lubbock. Why do you think I left? It's hacking is a crime, voyeurism is a crime, stalking is a crime in all 50 states. That means people don't like it when you do that, and when you do things people don't like, they're not going to like you. Don't ask why you can't get a real date. You're on mental slow if you can't figure that out by now. So I'm on a date with someone else who was really, Charles had caused all of these problems for me and a lot of hardship. And I was buried, and I was just like, felt smothered and overwhelmed, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on with this man? What in the fuck is going on with this man that he can't just leave me the hell alone? He's been at it for a long time. I started getting used by, never mind. I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so it was getting to be a bit much, and I meet this wonderful man who comes in and just took the heavy off me that Perry piled on me. So I was out to dinner with him, and he died of cancer, unfortunately, not long after this happened. But Perry, twice I forgot my phone at home when I lived in Lubbock, and twice he did something weird. Once was when Cheryl saw him walking into Carino's. I left my home. I was running errands, so he knew I left because he had cameras in my house. He just didn't know where I went because I left my phone at home. But if I leave my phone at home and he didn't have cameras in my house, he would have thought I was at home, right? But he knew I left. So he went to Carino's looking for me, and she saw it, and she called me and told me about it. Again, that's something I did not see. Because his whole complaint, she's delusional. Well, but there's other people seeing stuff. Creepy stuff that you do. I didn't tell anybody what you were doing for 4 or 5 years, 2011 to 2014. I had already moved twice. So you had all that chance to control yourself, and you wouldn't need a cover-up. Had you complied with the law and left me the fuck alone. Respect the rights and wishes of other people. Otherwise, you got antisocial disorder. It's also a mental illness. It's also a mental illness. I come home from my date. Mr. Perry, shut up. Were you asked what you think? I like to type in my computer when I'm doing these. So I come home and I look on my counter, and there's liquid all over the counter. I open it up, and there's a hole eaten through the plywood. And next to the hole is this bottle where you can see the plywood stuck to the bottom and it's melted. And this one on the right is the new bottle I bought. It was papaya enzymes. Like he got it, and there's no sign of forced entry. He didn't need to. He pays the little maintenance guy a little something, something. Or he pays the landlord a little something, something. Or he pays the locksmith a little something, something. But he gets in. Gets into women's home. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only victim. He asked me, who are his other victims? Because he wanted to know who's talking. Which ones are telling on me. When you met me, you started getting caught. Because you've done this all your life. And you're not getting it. When you cause a problem for me, when you contact me and I've told you to shut the fuck up and get out of my life. I don't care what you think. You talk to me like you think I care what you think. And nobody understands that. No one understands that. Why in the hell do you think that? Mental slow. So, he did that. And then he does the same thing to Officer Neely. Because you got a guy here. This is the arrest report. And these guys were asked, point out for me in the arrest report where the injuries are listed on him that look like he was in a fight. What it says here is, look at the very bottom, right here, suspect Neely is transported to Sacred Heart Hospital for evaluation. I arrive at Sacred Heart Hospital to speak with Neely, but he was unable to provide any information about what happened. He slept through it, dumbass. He fucking slept. Is that the best you can do as a detective? Fucking Barney Fife here? Get a different job. How embarrassing for you. Couldn't provide any information. The injuries I observed on him were to his mouth and lip, which was caused when Neely was pulled off of second event. Pulled off of Chief Miller and thrown face first into the floor by the hotel people. I also noticed his right hand was red and swollen. Oh my God, there's an IV in the right hand. Might that be why it's red and swollen? Detective idiot. Boy, we're pissed at you. When you hurt cops, other cops get really mad about it. If you are a cop, you should know better. How much did you get a new pool in your backyard, detective? Is Scamby a detective for doing that shit to him? Just took my police report 6 days before. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's Perry. Maybe it's not. Who the fuck do you think you're kidding, mental slow Perry? Nobody. The more you bother me, the more you get caught. All of you. All of you. The more you bother me, the more you get caught. The more you bother me, the more you get caught. And you think you can type in my phone leave? Nobody asked you what you think. Nobody asked you. No one asked you what you think. You were told to leave me alone for years. I was solicited by this guy. He'll sleep with him for $5,000. Oh my God, you gotta be shitting me with that. Look at that. He tells me I'm his caretaker. I'm your caretaker, and I'm like, you're my caretaker. Just sleep with him. I'm like, no, it makes my skin crawl. Come on. He'll give you $5,000. After he's tried to kill you and had you thrown in jail illegally to cover that up, the murder, how about you sleep with him for $5,000? I'm like, you're shitting me with that, right? Then he tells me, he's asked me in this conversation about 3 times if I'm wearing a wire. Yeah, because you're all innocent and such, right? And then he says I could ruin him politically. And I'm like, yep, right there. Politically, you could ruin him. What do I say right here? I don't care about that. I just want him to leave me the fuck alone. That's all you got to do. Costs no money and no time to leave someone alone. Don't give a shit about his politics. He's not relevant to me, and he doesn't legislate in Oklahoma. I left in 2014. I think Mr. Perry's very mentally slow and confused as to what his legislative duties are. What do I say here? To Dr. Russell. Both of those conversations were recorded too. He'll escalate. See, what's happening is if I ignore him, he'll escalate. He'll do something I can't ignore. So you back down, you ignore it again. There's no response. It gets higher. Hey, or something, ignore. But the problem is they can escalate more than you can ignore. And that's the problem you've got with Charles. He escalates more than you can ignore. Crime. Escalates crime, sir. It's not a trophy. You act like everybody's supposed to be proud of your crime. Happy about it. No. No, sir. You're getting told on a lot because nobody's happy about it. You're a deviant. You're a deviant and you're sick and you need help and you need to leave everybody else alone. That's why you keep getting told on. That's why you keep getting caught since you met me. Since you met me. But what's the first thing I say here? My feelings for you aren't what yours are for me, and I need you to stop because you're hurting everybody. Control yourself. I don't think you can. See, power is in being able to be a pleasant person that everybody likes being around Not this thing that makes blob of weirdo that walks in and makes it hurts people and gets off on it and makes everybody sick at their stomach when you walk in. That's power. Being pleasant. Being the guy that lifts the burden, not causes it. Being the guy that makes people feel safe. Not the one that makes everybody feel endangered and threatened. You're invading my privacy. Get out of it. You don't have a choice. When you bother me, you get told on. You can't tell you don't have a choice? Are you mentally slow? You're a mental slow. So, yeah, they wanted Mannford PD to arrest me. She likes Mannford. We'll have them do it. We want to make sure she doesn't like Mannford. And they don't like her. And you got caught. You fucking got caught, didn't you? This is, they went into court and said, oh, no, we're not stalking her. We're not doing what she says. But actually you are, because you wouldn't let me in court. Over and over and over. That's starting to become a problem for you. Over and over and over and over. And actually, what we've got is, you can pull that up and see William O. Ritchie's suspicions around Justice Scalia's death. He didn't die at some random time or some random place. He died while they were planning that harassment bullshit, fraud, which they did do. They can't say, no, we weren't planning that. What's in the harassment email? The harassment email was sent months before they actually did it in civil court. 5:18-137-C in the Northern District of Texas. They did do it. Then they just did it again in state court. CJ-2018-02775, filed in Tulsa County, District Court, State of Oklahoma. They did it twice. Exactly what that email says. And they did it after, because everyone told on them. People are sick and tired of this. Perry's little girl, woe is me. Lubbock Liz Taylor Act that he pulls. You're not entitled to a lie. You're not entitled to a date. You're not entitled to shit. And you need to act like a dude and go work. You need the alibi. You're about to go to prison. When you mess with me, you guys get caught. When you take my money, when you pester, when you invade my privacy, you guys get told on and told on and told on and told on. In 8 years, that's all you got. Never a date, never reciprocation, just told on. Over and over and over. And everyone's concerned that you're not getting that. Something's wrong with you. Things don't click for you. You're an embarrassment. So they go into court and say, oh, no, we're not doing that. But I just showed you Pinto. Pinto contacted me at my work where I am. Nobody's going where Perry is except police doing their job. Trying to put a stop to him coming up here. Sending guys like Pinto in to offer me money for sex. Ew. Ugh. Nasty. And then there was a Mickey James. So that's another one. Oh, I'm not contacting her in the form of state of Oklahoma. You are. There's 3 people right here. Mickey James. Terry Wagner. Guy named Joel. So, and then you did that. It looks, okay, so with the car vandalism, because of what you have done to Officer Neely and Chief Miller, it looks like you did do the vandalism. And you didn't want them to find out. You obstructed their investigation. Otherwise, why would you do that? You don't have a motive for murder of the not just any random police officer, that police officer. You had to coax him to Pensacola to do that, first-degree murder of a police officer, and then fraud upon a court again. There's like 6 of those they've got going right now. I said, get out of my life, didn't I? What part of that don't you understand? Get out of my life. Get the fuck out of my life. So I'm going to tell you about this man that I was seeing in Lubbock. Hold on. What does that say? I just want him to leave me the fuck alone. If you can't understand words said to you, sir, the first time, you don't need to be an elected official if you can't put simple concepts together and use good judgment and have some dignity like dignitaries have. When a woman says, leave me alone, I want no contact with you. You don't have my consent to peep and hack. You don't have my consent. You don't have my consent to contact me in any form at all. Leave me the fuck alone. And if you can't control yourself, you don't need to be shit. You don't qualify for dog catcher. Show you have power by going to get a woman to like you. Not by force, but by being a hard-working man who's attractive and interesting. Not a big blob of turn-off peeping Tom. Weirdo. Bizarre bore. You're a bizarre bore. Okay, so before I met Fabian, see, I was supposed to testify, and they kept me from testifying because I'm an outcome changer. I've never in the courtroom. 3 civil cases, never in the courtroom, because I'm an outcome changer. First time these guys have had to deal with somebody like me. They don't know what to do. They're acting girled up, though. I mean, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. A bunch of cowards. You know, fucking act like men already. We're all tired of watching your little girl act. If you guys weren't a bunch of uglies, you might qualify for RuPaul. I've known transes that were more man than you. Better people than you. Better Christians than you. You're an embarrassment. You're such an embarrassment. So, the man that I was dating in Lubbock that Charles, got all upset because I forgot my phone. None of his business. Where's Jacqueline when you did that? Where's your wife? That's who you need to be spending your time with, sir. And explain to her the betrayal, sir. You just piss everybody off. Don't ever again tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. You need to remember who you're talking to. I've caught your crime more than anybody you know. So fucking remember who it is you're talking to when you start getting bossy Betty, Bertha, butt-in. Nosy body, you're like Connie Curry. Oh my God, you two are cut from the same cloth. Hang on. Okay, so Charles had like he does, runs all the money off. I've been told that he was recorded more than once saying if I take her car away, then she'll call me. No, that's not what's going to happen. You won't like what's going to happen if you do that. Mr. Perry, shut up. Nobody asked you what you think. You won't like what will happen if you carry out the threat you've been making for a long time to take my car away. You guys took all my money on the 18th, and I heard you guys had spent weeks planning this big thing on the 18th. I was supposed to go to my family's house. I guess they were going to use my family to hurt me or somebody at their home that day, one of their friends. What I know is 9 times out of 10, the person that you want to hurt me was bullied into it. Because most people don't want to hurt other people. And I know my family doesn't. That's not their way. I've known my family all my life. I knew you for 3 years. So what happened is he had taken my money in Lubbock, and then I meet this man, and he was a very wealthy man. Very kind. I would sit and watch him get texts from people. I've got this problem or that problem. Can you lend me money? And he would. And his kids, he would get upset with his kids for asking for money because he was like, I taught them how to make money. They're not having some sort of tragedy in their lives. They just misspend it. And I get tired of them coming around with looking for a handout. I want them to do what I taught them to do and make money and stop overspending. So I'll get people that come to me and they're having a tragedy, cancer, or something like what you're going through, and they need my help, and I'm happy to help them. And here my kids come, and I bought more than I could afford. Can you bail me out? And it pisses me the hell off. I need to sit them down and have a conversation with them. They need to stop doing that. I taught them how to make money. I taught them how to spend wisely, and they'll just go hog wild and then come to me wanting me to help to fix it. They're not having any kind of tragedy. They don't have any kind of problem that, just stupid stuff. And it aggravates me. And I was like, I'm sorry. I don't want to get into your family stuff. And he's like, no, I'm just saying, it's, my kids know better. Anyways, and they treated me like shit, but he didn't. So, one day, I had my rent was due, and he was in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, where he had a ranch, And I was just like, I got up and I was like, I gotta pay my rent today and I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. And I just went, God, please just provide for me in a way I don't have to ask for help. I'm sick of asking for help. So it wasn't 5 minutes. The phone rings and it was him. And he said, you need to pay your rent today, don't you? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you have it? And I said, no. And he goes, I'm on my way. I'll get it for you. I didn't have to ask. It wasn't 5 minutes. He goes, I'm in Tahlequah. I'm heading back right now. He drove like 90 from Tahlequah to Lubbock. And when he got there, we got the rent paid and everything was fine. And he goes, I got pulled over by Oklahoma Highway Patrol for speeding, and I explained the situation to him, and he goes, okay, well, I'm not going to give you a ticket. I'm going to let you go. Just slow down a little. It's so nice that you're helping her. He took all the heavy off me, Perry, that you pile on, and you still pile it on. And 8 years, you got no date, no chance of one. Your thing that you go around like and you get enjoyment out of hurting people, it has run its course. We're sick of it. Everybody's sick of it. When you mess with me, you get caught. When you mess with me, you get caught. We're all tired of the repeat, sir. We're tired of it, sir. You need to control yourself. Yep, I didn't do that. He did that. Mr. Perry, you're hacking my phone. Get out of my phone. You're peeping. Get out of my life. You're the criminal. Get out of my life. Get out of my life. Get out of my life. Did you guys see just what he just did? What in the fuck? That's why I don't like you, Mr. Perry. That right there is why I don't like you. Get the fuck out of my phone. Hacking is a crime. Peeping is a crime. Stalking is a crime. Go away. Go away. Go away. When you bother me, you get told on, because we're all tired of you, Neil.
Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I knew.
That is you. Did he really just say, it doesn't matter what you want, I'm going to make you feel raped anyway? Oh my God, you're no different. You're worse. You're dangerous. Get out of my life. Get out of it. You need to control yourself and stop being a mental slow. You're caught. When you guys bother me, you get caught. I don't want to hear what you have to say. No one cares and you weren't asked. What were you asked to do? Leave me the fuck alone. Leave me the fuck alone.
Leave me alone. I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumbass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior. And you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her. And you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
That's okay. I don't care.
If you have power, go find a woman who wants you. Or shut up about having power. You don't have any. You're just pathetic. I left. Move on. Act like a man. Go work. Move on. Because you have no power, just acting like a fucking rapist. That's all there is to it. Everybody's sick of you, Charles. Leave me the fuck alone.